Hi everyone, welcome to the carpentry classroom. So today I'm going to show you what to do with the door when it is fouling basically all these edges. So on this door, we're pretty good up here, but at the top we grab. As you can see, makes the door hard to open. It closes, but it's a bit of work to get it to open. So I'm going to run you through what to do when your door is essentially hitting the jamb, how to identify the problem spots, and then planing the door down to make it work. So let's identify the problem. So on any door, our margin wants to be 3 mil. So basically we want the margin to look like this. So that's a 3 mil. It's got a 3 mil quirk. So you want a 3 mil quirk around the entire door, running all the way up. Any less than this, and you are going to bind on the jamb itself. So as you can see here, that's nice and tight. So there's no actual room for the door to properly close. So that's all the way across the top until you get to about the top here. So even that's a little bit tight. So what we want to do to start off with is basically get a packer, something that's 3 mil. And we want to scribe the edge. So we want to scribe all this edge across the top to 3 mil. Okay, so for this job, we need an electric plane. You can have corded, cordless, it's up to you. And we're probably going to need a drill, depending on if you have to take the door off. So if you don't have to take the door off, you can literally just open the door itself. If it's on this side, you can buzz the edge running up the top. If you're down the bottom, you're going to have to take the door off. If you are also on the top, instead of this, it's only this real edge that's fouling, you don't have to take the door off. You can just open the door, buzz the top, and you're good. But this one, I reckon we'll take the door off, sit it down, buzz the top through, and then we'll put the door back up. So first things first, we'll take the closer off. This is an older model closer. So undoing the grub screw, I can't actually pull that out. It's essentially this has been fitted off first, and then this arm's been screwed to the top. So easiest way to do it is just take the top rail off. Top rail off, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4 screws, and the whole unit comes off. So set that aside, keep all the screws and everything together, and now you can see, and I'll show you a closer look of this margin up the top. So as you can see, it's very, very tight, which doesn't help us at all. And you do have a little margin here, but it's best to make that a nice 3 mil margin the whole way around. This will ensure if there is any more movement, that it's not going to jam later on. So you do it once, do it right. So the easiest way to mark this is to get something that's 3 mil thick along here. Essentially, you want to rest it hard against the jamb underneath. Bring your pencil and run it through. And that'll give you a perfect 3 mil quirk that follows the door jamb, which is what you want to do. You want to follow the door jamb. So once that pencil line's marked, you can see it all the way through. We want to get our door and start planing down a door. So we'll take our door off. So I always do the middle hinge first, and then you do the bottom hinge. Leave one screw at the bottom, come up to the top, And then we'll put our screws in our nail bag pocket. So this last screw, if you grab the top of the door, pull it towards you, it stays, which is good. Easiest way to do this is pull it off the hinge. We'll let the front hit the ground, and then do our last screw. And that makes your door nice and easy to take off. Now these doors are fire doors on apartments, so they're nice and heavy. So you just need to be careful about moving and lifting them up. All right, so we lay our door down. Lay our door down on the ground, and that'll give us a clean run to buzz the front of the door. All right, so what you want to do is we want to lift the front of the door, put it under something, and that'll give us when we can buzz through. We can actually go through the end, and we're not going to hit the ground. I've got my quirk line that I've marked running down. So I've got a nice line all the way down, all the way to here. Buzzer on 1/2 mil. Nice and firmly against the door. Start the buzzer off the door, and then one clean run it through. Now don't run it all the way through this side, because what will tend to happen is there's a bit of timber down here that makes up the side of the door, and if you run it through, you're more than likely to break that off, and then you're going to have to patch this side of the door. So one run. So what we're gradually doing is we're planing the door down to meet that line. So you can see, well, you probably can't see with the dark paint, but my line is gone here, but you can sort of see it's still there, but it's actually starting to fade away. So we're just going to make sure we don't want to go deeper than that line, otherwise our door margin will be too great. So keep working through and just take enough off till you get to that line. When you get to the line, just say our line's here. You start playing from here and just lessen how much you're taking off and continuing through, and that way we'll blend that seamlessly and nicely. Now what I like to do, you've got two ways you can do this. You can flip the door to get this side, or we can, if our plane will fit, which it doesn't, so you can just lift that up a little bit higher, or quite easily just move that back, and that'll give us more pivot and it'll raise the door more. So then you'll be able to fit under here. And then all you're doing is just the same thing, just taking it off and you're blending that line through. So looking at that, got a couple more passes, and we are pretty good. Yeah, we're good. So after we've done this, we want to grab just a sanding block or a bit of sandpaper and just run that down the edge. So the edge is called the arris. So all we're doing is taking the arris off, and it can actually be quite sharp. So once you take that off, it's nice and smooth. You can, if you want, give it a quick run down the face. And that is beautiful. It's blended nicely. It's going to be a nice margin. And we can put that door back on. Now, a key thing to remember as well is when you put the planer on the door is the rock. So if you haven't got it flat, it's going to sit essentially like that on the door, and then when you plane, you're going to plane that at an angle, which isn't going to give you a true line, a true finish. So you just want to make sure that you're planing through nice and flat. It's better if to do anything where the door closes into. What I like to do with my doors is I get my hammer, my chisel, you sit the door on the end of the chisel, and then you can lever the door up with your foot. So using your foot, you can lift the door up to height. You can get that screw hole aligned and your hinge aligned. And once you've got one screw in, you can let that go. Come down to your other hinge, push it in and across. Grab one of your other screws. Put that in. We'll come to our middle hinge. So we push out our middle hinges in. Screw that off. And then what I like to do is just get another one. Another screw on the top. And now, just to make sure everything's good, close the door. And as you can see, there's no more rubbing. So here's our finished product. Nice even quirk along the whole top. Our sides are actually good, so we don't need to do anything with our sides. And now when we open, it's free. There's nothing hitting it. Now it's just a matter of putting all our screws back in our hinges. I'll reconnect the closer, the door closer. Obviously, if you don't have one, you don't need to. You just need to make sure your hinges are screwed off. So we'll open our door back up. One, two, three, four, 6, 7, and then that's it. So all our screws are back in. Close the door. As for our door closer is quite easy. So we'll just literally put it back as is. So start with the closer itself. Just push the screws through and line them up with the existing holes. So there's one, and there's two. So once that's screwed in, you can do the other two. That's on, and then basically we're just pushing this back to where it was. So same deal, line the screw holes up. Line the screw holes up. We'll put our cover plate back on. Push the cover plate on. That's it. So it's free. No problems. This could use with a little bit of an adjustment just to lessen the closing. But that's it. That is how to adjust a door when it's catching on the jamb. So I hope you learnt a bit. I hope that's explained enough for you. And yeah, stay tuned. We'll have more videos as they come.